This is probably the area that most artists are most familiar with, but still, mistakes are made, opportunities missed.
Well, it's weird because it's one in which we're probably all the most familiar if we play live, and yet it's one
Yeah.
where we feel the most awkward because it's not standardized. Like, if you get a stream, you're not choosing how much that you don't have to argue with Spotify about what that payment is worth. But when you enter the live world, like whether you're negotiating with a talent buyer or you're simply just trying to drive people to the venue, there's always like some strange wiggle room in how value is determined in a live setting. So, yeah, again, it's like could be ticket sales, could be door charge, could be you forego that and you just get a percentage of the bar revenue. It always feels not quite standardized, which makes it awkward because we don't like talking about money. But no matter how you go about that, it's I also wanted to remind people that you are owed publishing royalties if you're playing your own original music in a live
Yes.
venue. So don't forget to go back to ASCAP, BMI, whoever you're affiliated with, and file your set lists because that's additional money that's not being paid the night of the show to you by the venue, but the venue should be paying their what do you call it? Their blanket license
License. Yeah.
fees, which should come back to you. So just make sure to file your set lists and hopefully the venue doesn't hate you. Because if they're not paying that license, you may be ratting them out.
Yes, that was like, I think this program's really just to out all the venues, not to pay the artists.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I got an extra $8 for that gig. The bad news is I'll never play there again, and they're out of business, so neither will anyone else.
Yeah, I know ASCAP and BMI have portals. I'm sure wherever you are in the world, check in with your PRO. This is something that you file with them. From what I've heard, it ends up being about $10 per show, which some people may say 10 bucks, that's hardly worth my time. But if you're on tour playing the same set list every night and you maybe play 20 or 30 shows, that starts to add up. And that's money that's owed to you. And so let them know that
Eh,
your music's being used.
yeah, and not only is it owed to you, but it's the type of thing where if the venue is doing what they should and paying those fees, if you don't collect it, it's just gonna go to people who didn't play in that venue for songs that
Yeah.
didn't get it'll go to the giant publisher songwriters of the day. So just claim what's yours.
I think also that conversation we had with Jeff Toohey, which I think is episode 295 or something, where, talking to it, he's a talent buyer. And we dive into the money thing and the money issue. And I feel like a lot of artists lack confidence in this area, ultimately just want the gig no matter what the financial situation is, or lack the experience to know what options are or what levers or bargaining chips they hold and what levers they can pull, and really understanding the needs and interest of the venue that they're playing at, because those change, they're not all the same, and the money making opportunities will change and how the revenue works based on a lot of those circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one good thing to remember. It's a kind of a moving target every time. Like if you have a crazy packed show and everyone's buying a lot at the bar, but you don't feel like you got your guarantee for that night. Maybe you outperformed the guarantee. Well, that gives you leverage for next time to ask for twice as much or something. Similarly, if you've got a guarantee and no one showed up, like you have the option to say to the venue, hey, you know what? I kind of failed this night. Why don't I only take half of this amount? I don't know if you should do that necessarily, but it is a gesture you can make to make sure you don't burn a bridge just because you had one bad night.
Yeah, I mean, you could be flexible, and a club booker or a venue booker or a talent buyer, they know that sometimes you get the best band and everything just doesn't work in your favor. It could be that a lot of things outside of your control, whether it be weather or a freak snowstorm, all sorts of things that could impact it. But being flexible. The other thing I think with club bookers that artists don't do that hurts their revenue making opportunities is they don't ask good questions. Like, what is a typical deal that you're doing with artists? Here's where we're at. What would be your go-to deal? What are the options for us to earn more money? What are the things you look for? Just being upfront with those conversations. I know it can be hard. And oftentimes I know it's challenging because it feels like we're just trying to grab these people's attention with just the bare minimum facts in order to get the date booked and then going
Right.
into this big discussion. But I recommend if you have a show, whether it goes great or it's okay, if the booker is at the gig or still at the venue, go talk to them then. After the show, if it's great success, that's a great time to go talk to them and get another show booked and ask for more money and increase that revenue stream. During the day, if you're sound checking and they're still there, like doing stuff, just introducing yourself. And maybe that's the time to have the conversation about monetization options and different packages they may put together, or they may know about the other venues in the scene as well and can give you some advice.